You're watching Exit 1055 with your host, Richard Rose.
And good morning, I'm Richard Rose. Welcome to Exit 1055 Long Island, your show about all things Long Island. In just a little bit, we'll explain how some other states are trying to lure away, some say poach, the top scientific researchers from our leading universities and labs, and what difference that can make to you. But we begin today with the town of Brookhaven's crackdown on star property tax fraud. It follows a report by the New York State Comptroller's Office that as many as 20% of all the people filing the relief program are not actually eligible. It's costing the state and local governments and school districts tens of millions of dollars. And just last week, Brookhaven town leaders announced they have identified dozens, if not hundreds, of homes with absentee owners. These are properties that have either been abandoned or converted into illegal apartments. To claim the tax credit, the homes must be owner-occupied. Now lawmakers want to take action.
This town is going to crack down. If we have to hire additional people to do that to help the assessor, we will do that. But we are going to send a very strong message.
Town officials are warning absentee homeowners that they'll collect the back taxes and even seek prosecution for the worst cases. Now, we couldn't reach the owners of the properties that are being investigated, but a landlords association spokesman says this is a thinly veiled attempt by the town to once again go after landlords illegally renting out subdivided apartments to the nearby Stony Brook University students. Well, joining us now are two members of the group Stony Brook Concerned Homeowners. They are Anthony DeRosa and Bruce Sander. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, let's start with that question. Is this just another way to go after the property owners who've been in the news many times in the last few years, renting out to college students who are unable to get dorm space at the cramped Stony Brook University?
Absolutely not. This actually came about as a result of students being forced to park in the street over a snowstorm. That's how this whole investigation started. It started with the fact that one of the students complained that the landlord was charging him $25 to park in the driveway, so they all parked in the street. And when we reported this house, this landlord who owns 3 of these properties, to the town, their question became, wait a minute, I think this landlord is taking a star exemption, and it exploded from there.
Yeah, and that's illegal, and they say they're going to investigate that, and they're going to pour through their records to see if anybody else is doing this. Now, the properties we just showed are all owned by a man named Vincent Zhu, I think. Town authorities allege that he improperly filed for the star on one of the properties, as you just mentioned. I tried to get a comment from him. I reached someone who said they would pass on our information, our contact information, but we never heard back. What is the latest on that case, Anthony?
Well, the latest is that the town is still looking into him as well as others. There's quite a few within the town of Brookhaven total that are taking advantage of the star exemption, and they shouldn't be. We haven't heard back from the town if in fact he is in violation, but we sure think he is at this point in time.
Well, they're going to be cross-checking their records.
They are.
They say that there are abandoned properties that folks are tax credit on.
Yes,
there's even in some cases people are taking the exemptions that are meant for the veterans, which, you know, is terrible because that should go to the people who serve this country. How does that happen, though, that checks are sent to people where the properties have been abandoned or they're not even veterans?
It's just, I believe, when they first purchased the house, they don't change the exemption, and the town has not caught it all these years. But now it's becoming because of the landlord situation, the illegal tenants, it's become a open topic now.
So it changes hands, the property, and maybe it got flipped even, people who are looking to do what you're talking about, converted into illegal apartments, which is a problem on all of Long Island, not just Brookhaven. Right. How many properties would you say are involved here? When we were at the news conference, some said dozens, the supervisors being conservative, but then others claimed it was hundreds.
Well, as far as illegal housing within the area, just within the 3-village area surrounding Stony Brook University, we have 251 houses that we have reported so far to the town.
251?
251.
What are they doing about that?
Well, they have gotten back to us on 96 of them so far, and they now have those houses in compliance. Fines have been assessed, changes have been made to those homes to accommodate the new town codes. But there's still 155 that we're waiting to hear back from the town on.
Well, this matters, though, because this hurts some people. Who does this affect, Bruce?
It hurts the homeowners. The value of our properties we've seen, besides the real estate depression, we've seen the value of our properties drop tremendously, and that's a major investment. For most of people who buy our house, that's a major investment. I have 2 directly across the street from my house. The real estate value of my home has dropped tremendously because who would want to live across the street from 2 college boarding houses, each having 10 and 15 students each?
Well, then it also affects the school districts, I understand. Explain that.
Well, it definitely does, because you have lower enrollment in the school districts because of the less students going to the elementary schools that we have in our area. So we have to put a stop to this. I mean, it's been going on now for a couple of years. We have gotten tremendous support from the town of Brookhaven, Supervisor Romaine in particular. The university is starting to get on board. They're working with us to address the issue.
Well, tell us about that, because a couple of years ago you guys held a news conference with town officials and you were not happy about what the university
Right, exactly. I mean, the university was doing too little too late until we got involved. Now they've stepped up to the plate. They're educating their students on what is it illegal and illegal rentals. They're not posting on their website any longer all rentals. They're clarifying with the town before a house is listed as a rental, whether or not it has a legal permit on file. Which, by the way, we've gone through the houses that we reported, 251, and I also check on the town website to find out if there's legal rental permits. In probably 60% of the cases, there are no rental permits on file.
So you guys are acting like sort of the neighborhood watch, going into the records, looking for these properties.
We pull the deeds on every property.
Yeah.
Anthony goes out and pulls the deed on every single property. Once they're identified, we identify and we report them. The biggest problem we have is Stony Brook over-enrollment. Let's face it, if you had the housing, you go recruit the kids if you have the housing. You're recruiting kids from all over the country and all over the United States, bringing them to a university when you don't have housing for them.
Well, they say they're building some, and they have
not
more
enough.
coming.
That'll accommodate a small portion of what happened is they it was allowed to let slide all these years because we did not make an issue. The homeowners, it wasn't noticeable.
You know who's kind of caught in the middle of this, and I think everybody feels to them, it's the students that don't have any place to go, and they say, you know what, these are some grumpy neighbors that just want to pick on us.
And they don't know any better, the students.
Believe it or not, the students are great. We do not have problems with the students. There are a few party houses here and there, but you're going to have that in any college area.
Yeah, that would happen anywhere.
Yes,
right.
And even the students are having problems with some of their landlords. They're complaining about roach-infected houses,
Cameras
houses
in the
not being
house.
taken care of. Yes.
Yeah, that's an invasion of your who would want that?
There's a lot of, the students are at risk. They're taking a home that had normally a 3-family home, maybe 4 students, which is the legal limit, and they'll put 8 students in it.
So what's next?
Well,
honestly, there's a few things that we're looking at.
We got 30 seconds. So.
All right, 30 seconds. We may be looking into, well, definitely the IRS and the New York State tax reporting. We want to know. We don't know if there's an underground economy going on here. Maybe it needs to be investigated. And lastly is possibly a class action lawsuit against the landlords of these properties.
Well, Anthony DeRosa and Bruce Stony Brook Concerned Homeowners, they're fed up. They're not going to take it anymore. I think you'll be hearing more from them. Thanks for coming on and talking with us today.
Thank
you very much.